Hi everybody, it's Saratoga. So today I am coming to you in an audio message because unfortunately I hurt my back and I am unable to do video until I recover from that. So for today, this is what I'm going to offer you. And I don't have a major plan here, but there are some very important things that I do want to share with you today. And what I want to talk about today, because I've been thinking about a lot of things lately, you guys, especially with the media and social media. I think these controllers have overplayed their hand with all of their propaganda, and they might have actually given us a window that we can step through and find our balance again and our ability to evolve. So let me explain what I mean. Let's just start by observing that we have the corporate media and then we have the alternative media. But the corporate media now has moved into podcasting. It's all over the place. And then it's all being intentionally amplified on social media. So what does that mean? It means we have two sides of the same coin amplifying completely opposing points of view about our world and what is happening to all of us. The thing that they have in common is that they are promoting fear, terror, uncertainty, and division. Here's where I think they might have screwed something up. I think they have overestimated the amount of fear, terror, and manipulation that we human beings can actually endure before we just shut down to all of it. I think what they may have unwittingly done is given us a middle doorway to walk through and literally avoid the abusive messaging that we find ourselves enduring every single day, 24/7. So let me put this in a nutshell for you guys, and then I'll explain to you why this can work in our favor. So we have the propaganda media amplifying two sides. What is the middle ground? The middle ground is being rational. The middle ground is what offers us a true path of evolution. See, their hype is so off the charts, it is so extreme, that we are at a point now where we cannot afford to let these people do this to our nervous system and to our consciousness. It needs to stop, and we need to retake control of our minds and our consciousness. We need to find a calmer space where we can actively apply the natural laws and principles of evolution in our own lives. So take a moment to think about all of the stories that we are being told from every different angle that may or may not be true, and in many cases, probably aren't true. I mean, we are hammered every single day about the war in Iran and how horrific it's going to ruin the entire planet. And of course, now they're trying to gin up more fear about another pandemic. But I think we have reached a point now where the manipulation is so blatant and so obvious that they want to drive us into such a state of fear and despair that we feel hopeless and powerless to do anything about it. You know, this reminds me of that film, The Wizard of Oz. You know, the last scene where the wizard is hiding behind a curtain and he's got this terrifying image in the fire and just, freaking out the people that were standing there. I think this is almost the situation we're in right now. That when you take a step back and you look at how extreme their messaging is on both sides, the mainstream and the alternative, how unhinged they all sound, it's kind of like you look behind the curtain and you're like, hold on, this cannot all be true. These two sides cannot all be true. Now, I'm not suggesting that the world is not changing in very dramatic ways. And I'm not suggesting that there are not bad things happening, because it is changing and there are bad things happening. But here's the thing, you guys. We human beings are creators. We are a highly adaptable species. If we stop allowing these controllers to pummel us from all sides with fear, hyperbole, and exaggeration, we might actually be able to collect ourselves and get a feeling for what is actually going on. We might actually find it within ourselves to be able to adapt to these massive changes taking place in a way that is more calm, more sane, and far more rational than the controllers want us to be. They basically want us all falling apart emotionally and mentally. So my message to you guys today is, let us not allow that to happen. Now, I want to add one more thing, and I'm going to refer to this as spiritual propaganda, because this is another layer to what I'm going to define as propaganda. And you've heard me talk about this a lot in recent times: the stories, the fantasies, the promises that never materialize. Here's what I think is going on in the spiritual world. So we have the two main propaganda outlets, the two opposing sides, plus social media, which is specifically engineered to amplify their messaging. We're being pummeled with that. People feel terrible. They're exhausted. They're, in some cases, distraught. So then along comes another form of propaganda to help everyone feel better. And that is what I would call the spiritual propaganda. It's sort of like, okay, we know you guys feel terrible because this messaging that you're being hit with 24/7 is designed to basically crush your spirit. So we have a solution for you. Our solution is stories, fantasies, and false promises that will help you feel like you can escape these terrible realities that you are being pummeled with and go to 5D and the new earth. And you know how it goes, guys. I don't need to repeat it. So that's a third level of propaganda that I'll call spiritual propaganda. And it is quite possible that the controllers could be behind that as well. It's quite possible that they didn't want to give us any way out of being completely disempowered. So for anyone that has the strength, the inner strength and clarity to step away from the fear-based negative propaganda, they wanted to give those people a really quick fix of spirituality that will not empower them in any way, give them false hope, false comfort, and make them believe that it's all going to be okay because unseen forces are going to fix it all and take you to another dimension. When you put all of these forces together, you guys, you have absolute chaos in consciousness. So as I've been thinking about this in the last week or two, and just observing the bigger picture behind it all, I think that we have another golden opportunity right now to take our power back by simply becoming the rational beings that we naturally are. Now, I obviously did not have a major plan for this message because I have to recover from this back pain first. But I wanted to share this with you in this more informal way because I really think it's something we need to think about. And let's not forget, what's on the horizon is the whole alien ET disclosure mess. We're being set up for that too. So what my final words to you here for today would be this. Let's just observe all of this madness and understand that it's being done for a reason. It's literally being done so that we are so disempowered, that we are so freaked out and so confused, that we are unable to adapt in rational ways to the actual changes that are taking place. Because I believe, you guys, I believe that we are capable of adapting to these changes no matter how huge they are. But we have to get ourselves in our right minds first. We cannot do it from underneath this pile of junk that we are being hit with every day about how horrible everything is and how hopeless everything is. And then thinking that our solution is spiritual fantasies and storybook tales about the universe just sending everyone into 5D in the new earth. You know, sometimes the best solution is to just step back and see everything for what it is. And to be able to distinguish the difference between the massive amounts of propaganda and the actual reality that we are living in. And you know, I want to share with you how I came to this conclusion, or part of how I did. I have happened to stumble here and there. There are rational human beings who are not on either side of this insane propaganda war, who are able to simply state the facts of what is going on. And it made me realize how ridiculous these messages are that we're getting in the media and social media. And I could just see that light, not a light at the end of the tunnel, but a light in the fog, a light in the darkness, that we really do have a chance to intelligently adapt to all of these huge changes that are happening in our current planetary civilization. And I mean adapt in positive ways, adapt in empowering ways. So, I think that's all for today. I hope this all makes sense to you. Like I said, I don't really have a plan, but I may have to do another audio message for you. I'm not going to be able to do video until I'm feeling better. So I hope this gives you some food for thought. I hope it gives you a ray of hope and understanding that we are capable of navigating these huge changes. I just thought of one other thing, you guys. If they find it necessary to pummel us with so much fear and so much confusion and so much terror about everything, they can't be very confident that their plan is going to work on its own. See, this is another key point to remember. If they need for us to be just emotionally, mentally flattened so that we can't even stand up and think anymore, then maybe their plan is not as powerful as they think it is. Maybe if we wake up and say, okay, we can acknowledge that massive change is happening, that is a reality, but that we as human beings, we are capable of adapting and navigating these changes in a very positive, empowering way for ourselves. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you a new sense of things, a new sense of the world. And I will come back later. I would say it's likely it's going to be another audio message. Hopefully I'll be a little more planned than this one was. But I have a lot to share with you guys. I really do. I have a ton to share with you guys. So I may just have to do it in small parts like this until I feel like I am recovered. Okay, everyone. So have a wonderful day. And by the way, my Cosmic Journey membership is now open. And if you want to check that out and see if it's something for you, I will put the link in the description below. Have a beautiful day, my friends. I love you all so very much, and I will talk to you all next time. Namaste.